Salut! Si tu veux progresser, il faut que tu te mettes à arrêter de traduire toutes les phrases mot à mot dans ta tête, tu vois. Que ce soit du français vers l'anglais ou de l'anglais vers le français, en fait. Le but, c'est que tu puisses directement penser en français. Ça, ce serait vraiment chouette. Were you trying to translate that in your head just now, word by word? That's exactly why you're still struggling with French. Look, if you've been studying for months or even years but freeze up the moment a French person starts speaking, it's not because you don't know enough French, it's because your brain is stuck in the translation trap. Today, I'm going to show you how to flip the mental switch that makes French finally click in your brain. This is one of the fluency secrets, but it's what separates those who speak French from those who just study it. Let me show you what's really happening in your brain right now. When you translate, you're creating a mental traffic jam. You have an idea, you translate it to French, you search for grammar rules, you check for exceptions, and finally you speak. By then, the conversation has already moved on. Every day that you practice French while translating is reinforcing the wrong neural pathways. You've literally trained your brain to be slow at French. Think about how you speak your native language. Do you consciously think about grammar rules? Of course not. You simply express your thoughts. That's what you need to achieve with French. Here is another problem with translation. Many French expressions make absolutely no sense when translated directly. Let me show you. Avoir le cafard. Avoir le cafard. This literally means to have the cockroach. Cockroach, that's what you say? But it means feeling down or feeling blue. Depuis son départ, j'ai le cafard means since he left, I've been feeling down. Tomber dans les pommes. Tomber dans les pommes. It literally means to fall into the apples, but it means to faint. For example, quand elle a vu le sang, elle est tombée dans les pommes. Quand elle a vu le sang, elle est tombée dans les pommes. When she saw the blood, she fainted. Another one. Avoir un coup de foudre. Avoir un coup de foudre. It literally means to have a lightning strike, but it actually means love at first sight. For example, j'ai eu un coup de foudre quand je l'ai vu pour la première fois. J'ai eu un coup de foudre quand je l'ai vu pour la première fois. It was love at first sight when I first saw him. A fourth one. Avoir la pêche. Avoir la pêche. Do you know this one? It means to have the peach, literally. But it means to feel energetic. For example, ce matin, j'ai la pêche. This morning, I'm feeling energetic. Ce matin, j'ai la pêche. Your brain needs to connect these expressions directly to their meaning, not through English. When a French person says « j'ai la pêche », they're not thinking about fruit. So how do we break the translation habit and start thinking directly in French? The answer is surprisingly simple. Fake it till you make it. Why is your native language so effortless? Because your entire world was built in that language. Every thought, feeling, and expression was directly connected to those words. To achieve this with French, you need to start living like a French speaker, not just studying like a French student. Native speakers wake up to phones set in French, listen to French radio making breakfast, write shopping lists in French, express emotions in French, and even dream in French. Everything in their life happens in French because their brains are wired to think in French. This isn't about studying harder, it's about creating a French mental environment. Here is where most French courses fail you. They concentrate on grammar rules and vocabulary lists instead of rewiring your brain to process French directly. You don't need more French. You need to use the French you already know differently. It's not about creating extra time in your day. It's about upgrading the French moments you already have. Instead of studying French for 30 minutes, live in French for 30 minutes. Here are 10 powerful ways to implement this in your daily life. Talk to yourself in French while doing routine activities. Je me brosse les dents. I'm brushing my teeth. Je prépare mon café. I'm making my coffee. You can also label items around your house in French. You can put sticky notes on objects with their French names and gender. La lampe, le frigo. You can also create a French corner in your home, a dedicated space where you can only think and speak in French. Another idea is to keep a small French journal. You can write like 3 sentences every day about what you did. For example, aujourd'hui, j'ai fait les courses. Il pleuvait, j'ai acheté du pain. You can also convert your daily routines to French. For example, shopping lists. Le lait, les œufs, le pain. Don't forget to put the articles so you learn them too. Your to-do lists. Appeler le médecin. Acheter des fleurs. You can also listen to French during dead time. Walking the dog, commuting, cooking, cleaning. Another idea is to think in simple French sentences. Instead of I'm hungry, j'ai faim. Instead of it's cold today, il fait froid aujourd'hui. Another idea is to narrate what you see while you're driving or walking in the street. For example, je vois une voiture rouge. I see a red car. Cette femme porte un manteau noir. This woman is wearing a black coat. Want another idea? Express your feelings in French. For example, je suis fatigué, for I'm tired. Ça m'énerve, for that annoys me. Or j'ai hâte de, I'm looking forward to. And at last, this is not easy, but you can try to change your inner monologue to French. When you're making decisions, you can try thinking, qu'est-ce que je veux manger? Instead of, what do I want to eat? You know, the biggest challenge when learning French is not knowing your exact level and what you should be practicing next. Without a clear structure, you might end up stuck translating in your head instead of thinking directly in French. That's why I created the weekly practice plan. With this free resource, you will get a clear assessment of your current level and specific exercises tailored to your needs. You will find exactly what to practice each day of the week, how to overcome common obstacles, and a simple method to track your improvement. Join over 30,000 French learners who've already downloaded this free resource. Click the link in the description and start your structured French practice today. Let's continue. Here is your 7-day challenge with specific tasks for each day. Day 1 is French morning. Change your phone language to French. Name 10 objects you see when you wake up in French. Fill in the blank and say this out loud. Bonjour, je m'appelle. Il est heure et je suis. Day 2 is about French eating. Name all the foods and drinks in French during the day. You can also practice these phrases at meals. For example, j'ai faim, for I'm hungry. C'est délicieux, for it's delicious. Je voudrais encore un peu de, for I would like a bit more. Day 3 is all about French emotions. You can express your feelings in French throughout the day. You can also practice these emotional phrases. For example, ça me fait plaisir, that makes me happy. Ça m'énerve quand? It annoys me when. Je suis stressé à cause de. I'm stressed because of. Ready for day 4? Day 4 is about French decisions. Make small decisions in French. You can practice these decision phrases, for example. Je préfère celui-ci. I prefer this one. Je devrais faire ça maintenant. I should do this now. Je me demande si. I wonder if. Day 5 is all about French descriptions. For example, describe 5 people you see during the day in French. You can use phrases like cette personne porte. This person is wearing. Il or elle a l'air. He or she looks. Il ou elle est en train de. He or she is in the process of. On day 6, you can start planning in French. You can plan your weekend in French, for example. You can also use future expressions for this. For example, je vais aller à, I am going to. Or ce week-end, je ferai. This weekend, I will do. Or even, j'ai envie de, I feel like. And on day 7, you can concentrate on French self-talk. You can have a full 2-minute conversation with yourself in French. You can record yourself and listen back to this. These are connecting phrases you can use. D'abord, je vais. First, I'm going to. Ensuite, for then. Enfin, for finally. Let's do a bit of a listen and repeat exercise. Repeat these everyday phrases after me and connect them directly to situations, not to English translations. C'est pas grave. C'est pas grave is really useful when you spill something or make a minor mistake. For example, you drop your keys. Instead of thinking, it's not a big deal, try to think, c'est pas grave. Repeat after me. C'est pas grave. C'est pas grave. One last time. C'est pas grave. Good. Now, on y va. On y va is for when you're ready to leave somewhere. For example, you're getting up from a restaurant table and you say, on y va. Repeat after me. On y va. On y va. A third time. On y va. Good. Ça me dit bien. Ça me dit bien is when someone suggests something that you like. For example, a friend suggests a movie. Ça me dit bien. Repeat after me. Ça me dit bien. Good. And when you cut the E in me, it will be ça me dit bien. One last time. Ça me dit bien. Good. J'en reviens pas. This is for when you're shocked or surprised. For example, you're seeing an unexpected price. J'en reviens pas. Repeat after me. J'en reviens pas. One more time. J'en reviens pas. And you might already know that in everyday spoken French, we tend to cut the E in the middle of revient. So we would say j'en reviens pas. Okay, that was a bit more difficult. Ça marche. Ça marche is for when you're agreeing to a plan. For example, you're confirming a meeting time. 15 heures, ça marche. Repeat after me. Ça marche. Ça marche. Ça marche. Good. J'ai hâte. J'ai hâte is very useful. It's for when you're excited for something in the future, something you can't wait to do. For example, there is a really fun event tomorrow night at your local Alliance Française. You can say, j'ai hâte. J'ai hâte. J'ai hâte. Good. Tant pis. Tant pis is for when you're accepting a disappointment. For example, the store is out of your favorite item. Tant pis. Tant pis. Tant pis. À tout à l'heure. When you will see someone later in the same day, you can say à tout à l'heure. For example, you're leaving for a short time. You can say see you later. In French, à tout à l'heure. À tout à l'heure. Don't forget la liaison between tout and à. À tout à l'heure. Good. When you stop translating and start thinking in French, something magical happens. It's like suddenly taking the training wheels off your bike. You realize you've been making it harder than it needed to be all along. This isn't something that happens overnight. You need to practice consistently for several weeks or maybe months. But each time you catch yourself translating and redirecting your brain to thinking directly in French, you're building new neural pathways. The breathing analogy really explains it all. Most of the time, you don't consciously think about breathing. It happens automatically in the background. When you translate, French becomes like breathing with a stuffy nose. It's all that you can focus on. But when you think directly in French, the language itself fades into the background and your ideas flow naturally. That's what true fluency feels like. It's not perfection, it's freedom. The freedom to express yourself without being trapped in translation. Don't forget to download your free personalized weekly action plan, a step-by-step roadmap with daily activities tailored for your level, progress tracking tools, and proven strategy to overcome common French challenges. If you found this approach eye-opening, you'll love my video on the real French that no textbook teaches you. It shows why schools teach the wrong kind of French and how to learn what actually matters to you. Click here to watch it next. À bientôt!